Hello there guys, it's MDK here, and now I'm going to run through with you how exactly you pull off this Corp trick. And the first thing I'm going to want to teach you is the lure. Now if you take a look at this picture, I'd like you to notice that Corp isn't actually right up against the entrance. It's actually one square away, and you'll notice that it indents by one as you move away one square, and that's the little nook that you want to catch him on. This is absolutely vital because it's the only lure that will work. If you get him right up to the cave entrance, it won't work. If you put him in one nook too high, that also won't work. Okay, now the next thing to teach you is the entrance. Now, like I said, I am the blocker. I'll show you the attacker later. But the blocker comes and stands behind Corp like this, and basically this stops him moving from his current position when he's attacked by the attackers. Now the blocker typically doesn't stun, it's usually one of the attackers that stuns. Also, you want to be very careful when you're coming into the room as an attacker that you do not stand on the blocker. If you do this, then just like what happens with penguins, Corp will be able to move straight through you. Okay, so once your blocker and first attacker are set up in the room as shown here, you will want to get your second attacker into the room. To do this, simply get your first attacker to attack Corp and it will target him, and then the attacker can retreat to the safe spot. It's then time for your third man to enter, again being careful not to stand on the blocker, and then you can start the kill. The kill should start with your third man attacking Corp and almost immediately retreating back to the safe spot to avoid getting hit. Straight after this, the hard work starts, and I'm going to be showing you what you should do as the blocker. Your first priority should be unloading your BGS spec, making sure to only do it at the intervals where Corp is firmly focused on one of the attackers in the safe spot. Okay, now as the blocker, you're going to be the main source of damage to Corp. You should be able to get 2 hits per round, making sure you attack immediately after Corp switches his target from one attacker to the other. And once you get in the groove, the kill should start to run extremely smoothly. As a blocker, you should never ever move off your spot, which is why you should not be stunning, but in this case, I've just been attacking, so I have the stuns. Now as a blocker, there's only one thing you need to look out for, and that is if Corp targets you. Now here's a clip of it happening and how you should deal with it. Now the main thing to remember here is not to panic. The aim is to get Corp focused back on one of your attackers, so the blocker should not be hitting Corp at this point, and instead they should just be tanking the hits with melee pro on. It's very easy to forget your role in this situation and move off your blocking spot, so please remember not to move. So that's my tutorial on being a blocker done. Now let's move on to when you're an attacker, and the attacker's first job is to lure Corp. You may have to do some fidgeting like I do here in this particular clip, but make sure you do not bring him right up to the entrance as discussed earlier. Okay, so once he's loaded, your blocker will go in, followed by your first attacker, and it will be time to pot up. Again, sorry to keep drumming this into you, but be very careful not to stand on your blocker. Okay, so once you're in position, you're going to want to start about thinking the kill, and if you're the one that's just run in, you're going to be the one to initiate it. So there I go, I make the first attack, followed by my friend who gets his attacks away and then retreats to the safe spot. Now the main thing about being an attacker is to remember to soul split, because soul split is what will stop you using your brews and what will make this method efficient and cheap. Okay, now as you're about to see, sometimes Corp will retarget in one hit. This is completely random, it's not particularly common, but it does happen. So just be aware and ready to run straight back to your safe spot. If it does happen, do not overbrew, brew to just over 650 life points and soul split the rest back. Otherwise you're ruining the efficiency of this method and you might as well be trioing normally. Now ideally as attackers you want the best connection you can, because as you can see, as I've already done plenty of times in this kill, if you run back immediately after you see Corp shift to you, then you can make sure he doesn't attack at all and effectively take 0 damage for the whole kill. Now unfortunately I'm on a university campus network, so my connection sucks, but there are some tricks to help you out. Now usually, if you click attack as soon as you see Corp switch to your partner, you can get 3 attacks before having to run back. So because you know this, even with a bad connection and a bit of lag, if you can click at the right time, you will manage to not get hit at all for the whole kill. Now to finish up, I'd like to invite you guys to try out this method. Feel free to record it, post a video response and help me build on it to make it efficient, because every time we go we seem to be using less and less brew. And as you saw on the first kill with the attacking blocker which we've now developed, I only actually used 2 brew for a whole trio kill, with no Status Warhammer or anything like that. Please do not however go and do this, record it and just post it onto YouTube without at least referencing this video. Now if you're up for giving this a try and you want to help me in making it more efficient and becoming better at it, then please leave me a comment with your Runescape name. Now I can't promise that I can obviously try it with everyone, but if you're like me, you have Turmoil, Soul Split, Overloads, etc, etc, and you're willing to risk Carrils, then by all means comment and I will get you added. Okay, so that is my complete method to efficient Corp using this newly found Safespot and developed block attackers. Okay, now in the last video I posted, it was up for maybe 4 hours total. I was telling you about my Zybez radio special show. A lot of you have been asking me for the download link to that because I promised to record it. Now unfortunately, me being me, I configured SAM incorrectly and it didn't actually record any of the show at all. Luckily for you guys, however, I did actually pre-record the majority of the show so that I could have a little bit more time to interact with the listeners rather than having to do it completely and utterly live. So in the description you should be able to find 4 download links. Now the first 3 will refer you to numbers 40 to 31, 30 to 21 and 20 to 11 in my top 40 countdown, and they will be completely as they were on the show, besides the bits in between, because they were completely pre-recorded. The 4th link, however, I did 10 to 1 completely live because I was doing cookie readouts after every song because they were flooding in. I was also doing clan chat shoutouts and all the usual things, and the listeners were getting really involved. But what that means for you guys is that the 4th download link will simply just be a run through from 10 to 1 of the top 10 songs in order, with none of the live radio bits in it since the recording was broken. I really do apologise for this, but there's not much I can do. The show's been and gone, I can't redo it. But thank you to everyone that did tune in. It was an amazing night. We got loads of listeners. Like I mentioned, we broke a record, so it was fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. But for now, until my next video, take care and I'll see you then.